guess everybody thinks they're Indiana Jones.
Cruising down the river.
Welcome back to Ghost Coasters and another episode of Lost, Abandoned, and Forgotten Amusement Parks. Michigan's amusement parks embodied an era of joy and excitement, offering generations a moment in time, a piece of laughter, and a story to tell their younger ones about places we can't visit today. From simple beginnings of trolley parks in eras long gone, to the laughter of midways and screams from rides that we hear as past memories fading in the wind. As economic pressures mounted and leisure preferences shifted, these beloved parks faced closure one by one. The end of each park marked the conclusion of an era, a time when families gathered for carefree days of amusement. Despite their closures, the legacy of Michigan's amusement parks endures in the nostalgia of those who visited, preserving a piece of the state's cultural history and the timeless allure of summer escapades and childhood dreams.
Electric Park, Detroit's first mammoth amusement enterprise, opened on May 24, 1905 near the Belle Isle Bridge approach. When Electric Park opened, it was widely covered in the local newspapers. The Detroit Free Press and other publications highlighted the park's cutting-edge electric lighting, a novelty at the time which inspired its name. The Detroit Free Press proclaimed it the greatest electrical display ever seen outside of the Pan American Exposition. Electric Park, it said, will make Chicago's White City and Luna Park at Coney Island retire from the front stage. The park was located near the Belle Isle Bridge, making it really accessible by car and easy to get to from residents in the city. Luna Park started the streetcar trolley park craze, and Detroit was in on the fun shortly after with Electric Park. The Free Press heralded the opening of the park. Detroit's new Electric Park will be one of the largest in the world. Owned by Arthur Gawker family, Electric Park, before it closed in 1928, went through many name changes and lengthy court battles over property rights. Some old-timers remember the names of the parks like Pike's Peak, Palace Gardens, Granada, and Riverside. This attributed to the fact that the park was much like Luna Park system in New York, where it made up a few parks in one area. Many of these names came from concessions located along the riverfront grounds, so this leads us to some of the other parks on the waterfront areas as well. Gawker's Park was located near the Belle Isle Bridge, just a few miles from downtown Detroit, right on the Detroit River. Morris Wolff opened Wolff's Park in 1906, directly across the street from Electric Park. The thing about Wolff's Park is, there isn't a ton of information readily available about the park, just a few newspaper articles, a book by Joseph Macaulay called Detroit's Lost Amusement Parks, and a few postcards that show a different park than Electric Park. We did find some information from Walter P. Reuther Library at Wayne State University stating, in 1905, entrepreneur Morris Wolff bought the Old Beller's Garden Saloon just east of the Belle Isle Bridge and built an amusement park around it. Wolff's Park had a Ferris wheel, a 3,000-foot long roller coaster, the largest roller skating rink in the West, a dancing pavilion, and more. In 1907, it was renamed Riverview Park. In April 1914, it was rebranded as Palace Gardens, but the new name never stuck. It was going by Riverview Park again a few years later, so this is where Riverview Park comes into play. As you can see, there is a park here, and a park in the distance, both with wooden roller coasters along the waterfront.
A typical family day at Electric Park started with families arriving by streetcar that connected Detroit's residents to the park's entrance near the Belle Isle Bridge. They might start the day with a ride on the scenic railway. Families could then explore other rides, such as the carousel and Ferris wheel, which offered gentle thrills and scenic views. The park's picnic areas provided a place to relax and enjoy a meal. Children would ride the carousel and Ferris wheel, while parents might enjoy a stroll around the park or participate in games at the penny arcades. The boat rides provided a pleasant break from the hustle and bustle. Families would gather at the dance pavilion, listen to live bands and dancing. The electric lights, illuminating the park as night fell, created a magical atmosphere. Throughout the day, the park featured various events, such as vaudeville performances, magic shows, and other live entertainment. But competition from across the street was there. So let's get into some of the rides along the waterfront area.
Favorite attraction was a scale model of the horrible flood of 1889 in Johnstown, Pennsylvania that killed thousands of people. Other attractions included aerial and high wire acts, Trip Through the Clouds, the Detroit Bobs, or the Bobs as it was known, and the Derby Racer, which were roller coasters for the brave. The Derby Racer was introduced in the early 1920s. The roller coaster was designed by John A. Miller, a pioneering roller coaster designer known for his innovations in safety and thrill ride technology. The Derby Racer reached an impressive height of around 80 feet, making it one of the tallest structures in Electric Park. The coaster could achieve speeds of up to 45 miles per hour, providing a fast and exhilarating ride. The total track length was approximately 3,200 feet. The Derby Racer featured a traditional out-and-back layout characterized by a series of steep drops, high-speed straight sections, and thrilling airtime hills.
John A. Miller, the designer, was known for his contributions to roller coaster safety, including the development of the under-friction, or up-stop wheel. This innovation prevented the cars from leaving the track, ensuring a safe yet thrilling ride experience. For many visitors, a trip to Electric Park was not complete without a ride on the Derby Racer. Families and groups of friends often made a beeline for the coaster, eager to experience its renowned thrills. The anticipation built as they ascended the initial lift hill. The Derby Racer opened in the early 1920s, around the same time as other major attractions like the Detroit Bobs, and the Derby Racer was located in the Riverview Park area.
The Detroit Bobs was designed by Harry G. Traver, an innovative roller coaster designer known for creating rides that pushed the boundaries of thrill and excitement. Traver's coasters were renowned for their intense and sometimes extreme ride experiences. With the cityscape of Detroit visible from the top before plunging into the first exhilarating drop, the Detroit Bobs stood at an impressive height of approximately 60 feet. Not as tall as the Derby Racers, but designed to deliver a more intense ride experience. The coaster reached speeds of up to 40 miles per hour, which, combined with its tight turns and sharp drops, made for a heart-pounding ride. The track spanned about 2,500 feet.
The Detroit Bobs featured a complex layout with numerous tight turns, steep drops, and rapid changes in direction. The ride was known for its jitterbug track, a signature of Traver's design, which included sudden lateral movements that added to the thrill. The Detroit Bobs quickly became a highlight of Electric Park in the Granada or Palace Gardens area of the park, attracting thrill seekers from all over Detroit and beyond. Its reputation as one of the most intense rides in the park made it a must-ride for adrenaline junkies.
The coaster's imposing structure and the screams of the excited and sometimes terrified riders added to the lively atmosphere of the park. It exemplified its daring spirit of early 20th century amusement park rides and the creativity of designers like Harry G. Traver. The Detroit Bobs remained a symbol of excitement and innovation that characterized Electric Park. Its memory continues to evoke nostalgia for a bygone era of amusement parks, especially in the Detroit area, where rides pushed the boundaries of thrill and excitement. Even after the park's closure in 1928, the Bob's roller coaster remained a fond memory for many.
Trip Through the Clouds opened in 1915, making a 9-year run at the park and closing 1924, a whopping 100 years ago from today. Trip Through the Clouds was built by a prominent builder at the time, who built scenic railways for parks like Coney Island, Conneaut Lake, and even a figure 8 for Waldameer, all from 1902 to 1915. Trip Through the Clouds utilized lighting and scenic views to simulate the trip through the clouds, and families found the relaxing, slightly slanted hills and slow-moving coaster to be a nice change of pace in comparison to the others. Think of a ride like Leap the Dips at Lakemont Park. Very similar side friction-esque wooden coaster without the crazy drops.
The Prohibition era, starting in 1920, also impacted the park's revenue as it lost income from alcohol sales. This financial strain made it difficult to invest in the maintenance and upgrades needed to keep the Detroit Bobs and other attractions in top condition.
There were rides, vaudeville, circus, and musical acts, but also curiosities, such as ostrich racing, firefighting demonstrations, and attractions with names like the Inferno and Men's Devil. But once the novelty wore off and the competing Wolff's Park next door, Electric Park struggled to keep the lights on. Instead of cutting costs, owner Arthur Gockler just kept adding new attractions each year, digging himself deeper in debt. The park closed August 16, 1909, and the land was ordered sold. Half of the park was demolished in 1911. After that portion was bought by the Detroit Stove Works next door. That same year, a fire wiped out several rides on the other half.
But Gawker wouldn't give up. He sold his family Gawker's Point property on Lake St. Clair to Henry Ford and used the money to rescue what remained of Electric Park, the other half, from foreclosure. He started erecting a new 2-mile roller coaster but died in 1912 before it could be completed. The site and coaster opened as Pike's Peak, which then became the Derby Racer and was eventually folded into Riverview Park Resort next door, on the east side of the bridge approach.
The Dance Pavilion was a particularly popular spot, where couples and families could enjoy a range of dance styles from waltzes to the Charleston. The midway section of Electric Park was bustling with carnival games and sideshows. As dusk fell, Electric Park transformed into a dazzling spectacle of lights. The park was renowned for its electric lighting, with thousands of bulbs illuminating the rides, pathways, and attractions. The illuminated Ferris wheel and carousel created a magical ambiance, making evening strolls through the park particularly enchanting.
Palace Gardens, another dance hall associated with the amusement park, burned down in May 1911 at a loss of $130,000. In February of 1921, the Coliseum Ampere, the largest concession on the riverfront, was destroyed by a fire. By the late 1920s, the popularity of streetcar amusement parks were waning. The rise of the automobile allowed people to explore new leisure destinations beyond the city limits. As the park aged, maintenance became more challenging and costly. Without significant reinvestment, the park's condition deteriorated. Belle Isle offered free or low-cost entertainment options, drawing potential visitors away from Electric Park. Additionally, other amusement parks and recreational venues in Detroit provided stiff competition, and another big thing that we don't often think about in today's day and age.
The enactment of Prohibition in 1920 reduced revenue from alcohol sales, which had been a significant income stream for many amusement parks, including Electric Park. As the 1920s progressed, societal changes and evolving leisure preferences also affected the park. The rise of new entertainment technologies, such as radio and cinema, offered people different ways to spend their leisure time. Electric Park operated on a seasonal basis, which meant it was only open during the warmer months. This limited the revenue-generating period to a few months each year, making it challenging to cover the costs of operation and maintenance throughout the year.
In 1927, after a long and bitter legal battle, Electric Park amusement centers were condemned by the city as eyesores. When Electric Park closed in 1927, the roller coaster was disassembled and rebuilt in Eastwood Amusement Park. They were raised in 1928 to make way for a public park, considered to be a more suitable approach to Belle Isle. The area was officially renamed Gabriel Richard Park in 1936.
Electric Park and the surrounding amusement mecca of Detroit serves a historical reminder of the past, from grand beginnings to humble endings. While its existence was relatively brief, Electric Park and the surrounding parks like Riverview Park's impact on Detroit and the amusement industry is still seen to this day, with Electric Park being one of the first electricity-advanced parks. We think of rides lighting packages today, don't ya? And midway lighting, and realize some of the things from so long ago still creep into today's tapestry.
So, in Detroit, they had an amusement park mecca back in the day here. There's not much left of the remnants of anything here. This park was massive. There was a park on the other side of that bridge as well. There's some of this left. There's something that says electric over there. But, you know, obviously nothing's really laid out or talking about the history of Electric Park here. But the amusement mecca that once was the Detroit riverfront was right here. There was another park, Wolff's Amusement Park, Riverview Park on the other side. And then right over here behind me was Electric Park. One of the first parks to feature electricity, have lighting packages, dazzling displays of lights. So it's pretty cool thinking of what could have been, you know, Detroit's own Luna Park waterfront, but alas, it's all gone. What once was Electric Park is now occupied by a cute little butterfly garden and people out and about having good days and us walking around, and no more amusement park mecca madness on both sides of the bridge here on Belle Isle's bridge out there in the distance. Kind of crazy when you think about it. And just over in the distance here on the other side of the bridge was a different amusement park. Now gone and filled with trees and everything else along the waterfront mecca that once was. Electric Park may have been the first big park in Detroit, and we can still see remnants of the area today as you walk Gabriel Richard Park on the way over to Belle Isle for a day, which often brings a longing and wondering for the riverfront to be filled with amusement rides, especially today with the resurgence of downtown Detroit, the Riverwalk, and so many accessible ways to get there now. And across the street stood another amusement park, but time and change caught up to all of them. Despite its relatively short lifespan, Electric Park left an indelible mark on Detroit's history. It was a place for laughter and memories. The park's story is a testament to the evolving nature of entertainment and the challenges faced by many early amusement parks, especially in the greater Michigan area.
We hope you enjoyed another episode of Lost, Abandoned, and Forgotten Amusement Parks with Ghoster Coasters. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and join the historic and spooky fun today. And leave us a comment on the next set of parks you want to see us cover after we finish these Michigan parks. And if you have any other Michigan parks for us to cover, let us know down below. As always, thanks for being a part of our spooky community.
And for Coaster Ghostin' with Ghoster Coasters.